Yeah. All right, we are going live. I'm gonna hit the record button. And recording on Audacity. It still only wants to record at 8%, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. I put it at 30, and I know that when I'm talking, it's going to just start auto adjusting. And I don't know why it's done that ever since one update a while ago, and I don't know how to stop it. It's annoying.
Very. Also gonna change that. Hello! Seaster is here.
She'll be here in a month.
Oh my gosh, so excited.
I know. Literally cannot wait.
Okay. My mic is just being uber sensitive today on stream. Could you talk for a second?
Can I talk for a second? 1 second. One
Perfect.
Mississippi. 2. Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't be echoing now. I was fucking with settings, but now it seems better. Yeah.
All right, come here, Bear. Isn't this 134? I think I didn't renumber the script title because of everything that happened with us. Hello, Apollo.
Did it?
Let me check our episode list. Y'all.
Oh, yep.
Oh, it's 135.
With 5. Holy shit.
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, yeah,
Yes,
it
is.
because yeah, I see. Because then the random stream I put also as night off, as in for me. But like, also I was hoping for you too. But if you want to do stuff, you can. But yeah, if you do something, then that would make it an increase by 1. Okay. Mary.
Stream updated. Also, I got you a present.
What present?
I also got one for me. So I was just like, okay, if I'm getting one, I need to get 2. So
Got me a present. Yay! I love that sticker so much.
yeah. It came back on her Etsy shop, and so I was like, okay, must buy. Like, I must
love
own.
it
So now
so much.
we have little matching sticker boys.
Enjoying the freedom of nature's gifts. That gives me so much joy. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. It also came with this cute little just random puppy. Just a random little puppy dude.
Hello, little puppy dude. Sorry, Bear. I'm sorry, Bear. This little cord is in his face. There we go. Hopefully. No. Kind of. Oh, sorry. You kind of just have to deal with it like I have to deal with it. You guys see his paw? Oh, he moved it. He's like right here.
Don't show your cleavage on camera, Mom. I'm protecting you.
Yeah, he is. He's like, your modesty. Oh, baby bear. I'm ready for a podcast, I guess.
Me too, but I know ads are gonna start in like 30 seconds, I think.
Okay.
So
I hope Mary's purring gets picked up by my mic. That always makes me so happy.
Oh,
Don't know if it is. It's really hot and I'm over it. Just FYI. And I know everyone in the Eastern United States watching us right now is way hotter for them. It's 81 right now, according to my watch. And it's too hot. I went for a run today and I hated it.
I love
Yeah.
it. I stood out in the middle of the street today just being happy.
I forgot because you're always cold. Are you like anemic or is this just how you've always been?
I've always been this way.
No, I like being in the cold. It's too warm for me. I'm a delicate rose.
My body and energy level shuts down when I get cold, but I get energized and more happy when I'm warm. And like everybody's like, oh, well, if I get too hot, I just turn on the AC. It's like I'd rather, or if I get too cold, then I just put on extra layers. And I'm like, yeah, I put on extra layers so that way I'm warm. Even last night when it was still like mid 60s, upper 70s at night, I still have 3 blankets on my bed.
Wow.
Like, I have to be warm in order to be happy.
You are, what is it? Ectothermic, like a lizard.
Yeah.
You gotta like bask.
Oh, I love it. I miss having a backyard because of that. Just being able to go lie in the grass.
I miss a backyard too. I have a very sunny balcony if you ever want to come over and bask on the balcony. It gets
Yeah,
real hot there.
but I
I'm far
can't.
away.
I don't want to be all like bikinied on your balcony.
Oh, I don't know if anyone looks over here, but there is like houses.
And your husband.
Oh, I forgot about him. I don't, he's not gonna look. You avert your eyes. Okay. Okay, let's wait. I mean, I still have an ad playing on my.
Yeah, it'll end in 4, 3, 2, 1. Ad break
Get out of here,
ended. Your
quantum
community
fiber.
is back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Actually, if he's playing Ghost of Tsushima, he would be in the living room. But if he's playing, he just bought again for like the 400th time Fallout 4, like the Game of the Year edition. So that's in the bedroom. He could be over there. You can't see the balcony from that bedroom, but you can from my daughter's room. But not that he would be in there. My kid would, but she's seen boobs.
yeah. Uh,
Oh, fire
okay.
ants. Yeah, no, thank you. Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
Oh,
Podcast
no.
time.
Okay. All right. Yes. Let's do a podcast. Not talk about my boobs. Maybe we will at some point again. We'll see. They tend to pop up in many places. Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Genesis, the girl who had to reject her brother's wife as a romance option last night in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Everyone's got to do that once or twice in their life, I guess. And I'm Verbata, the girl who, when I was playing that game, I also rejected her, but it was hard. She's really cool and has like nice scenes, like cut scenes. But I haven't finished that game. So I don't know what happens if you do romance her or don't.
I do because I totally looked into it. I wanted to verify. I was like, this is his wife, right? I can't, this doesn't seem right in my brain. So I looked it up and totally got spoiled on it. So I kind of know what happens. And I went with the right decision right off the get. So things definitely happen. Maybe we should put it on the list and we can cover it in depth later.
Oh, it's on the list.
It's on the list. All right. Hmm. So, if you're new here, welcome to the beautiful chaos. You should also know that our podcast centers on character and romance analysis and doesn't shy away from exploring the fun of fucking.
Or from the deep emotional connections built between two or more characters using specific in game dialogue, usually, although not with this episode. But still, if you want to stay spoiler free, then this is not the podcast for you.
Post gen, insert Sam audio clip because you forgot to pull it up. Thanks for the spoiler alert, N7. And just like with all of our previous episodes, we'll assume that you have some background knowledge of the game and character in question, but we'll be providing context for those of you who may be unfamiliar.
Like us, we were also unfamiliar with this game. But today's the last day that we are in Inaba attending high school, and we're graduating because it's the last night. We're almost done with the romanceable characters in Persona 4, but we still have two more girlfriends to talk about. One is a popular idol, meaning she sings, dances, and performs. She's a performance artist. And the other is being held against her will as a manager of the sports team at the high school, pretty much. Both have their pros and cons, as all our romance options do, but one has main character energy, while the other is more of a side character. But we're talking about them both. We're talking about Ai Ebihara and Rise Kujikawa from Persona 4. And we're going to start with Ai.
Ai Ibihara is a character to be sure. She's initially portrayed as the rich, snooty girl archetype, seemingly shallow and self centered. It doesn't matter what sports team you choose, she manages it. But she makes it quite plain how awful she finds the task. She says it's a punishment, and also the only way her teacher will allow her to progress to the next year and pass her classes, because she has apparently missed too many days of school. This is ironic because her first hangout opportunity with you is to skip class. You go to the mall, and she makes you hold all of her bags, even calling you her personal servant. Hey, she really is starting out strong on likability, huh? And I's initial interactions with you begins but with her using him to improve her image and popularity. She asks him to pretend to be her boyfriend, showcasing her initial manipulative and superficial nature, at least on the surface. But I've also done this as a trauma response. I was in drama in high school, and rehearsal lasted until about 6 p.m. at night, and I had to take public transportation home. A castmate of mine who had to take the same bus home and I were waiting. This guy started whistling at me, and I just did not like the look in his eye. So I looked at this guy that I had known for a few days, literally for a few hours of rehearsal, and asked him to put his arm around my shoulders to make me feel more safe because of a look around, because of the way that this guy looked at me. It's like, please make me feel safe. Look, Mr. Rando, my boyfriend is standing with me right here. Obviously, situations are a little bit different, but using a man to make you feel more secure in certain situations is valid. But this could also just feel like she's trying to buy a boyfriend.
Yeah, I've done that too. It didn't work when I was in Korea, but we tried convincing this creepy dude that I was married to my army friend, and I still got groped as I got on the subway. But then they scared him away. It was really fun. I like that memory, only because the look of fear was satisfying for me as a woman after I had been, made to be afraid. But anyway, I have no idea why I's doing it because I didn't play this game. And when I was watching the social link videos and like analysis stuff that I was finding, yeah, it's just kind of like her. I'm not really sure why she was doing it. She could have been doing it for that reason, or just because, as we'll talk about soon, like she is desperately trying to be liked and she thinks like openly flirting. She's one of the more openly flirty companions, like possible girlfriends. She thinks that's like male validation is the way to get it, but we'll talk about that. So in the mall, she's like dropping a lot of cash, buying whatever she wants, and it's clear she does this a lot because the shopkeepers all know her. How exactly is she paying for all of this? Because she's like 15 years old, right? She has a family credit card. Remember how Jen said she's the snooty rich girl? She is, but she's also a new money brat. If you don't know what new money is, then you're clearly not in any money at all, or you haven't watched The Gilded Age. You should watch that show. It's really good. Anyway, so I will tell you that her dad came into money when she was in middle school. So, like last year, fairly recently. She says she used to be fat and bullied all the time for quote unquote being gross and unlikable. That's super sad. So when she got rich, she developed an eating disorder or what they call dieting in the game. But I mean, in the context of everything and the way she talks about it, let's be real, that was an eating disorder. And she studied fashion magazines to learn how to dress to impress. Like she got extremely focused on her outward appearance, trying to get people to like her. She changed basically everything about herself in that pursuit of being likable, pursuing wealth and beauty as if they are the roads to happiness. But as we all know, they really aren't.
Roughly in the second half of her social link, she will ask you to find out who her crush likes. She may have a crush on Ko or on Daisuke, depending on choices in the game. Neither of them like her. And when you tell her this, she spirals. Like the scene takes place on the rooftop of the school, and trigger warning for self harm, she thinks about jumping off the roof. She stands there on the edge, and you has to talk her down. It gets really intense really fast. Then, in a whiplash sort of narrative moment, she will lament that she didn't just like you from the get and asks if you could be her boyfriend, whether or not you is already dating someone else. In order to actually succeed at her romance arc, you have to turn her down here, a la Jack in Mass Effect 2. Because, dear listener, in order for anyone else to love you to your fullest, you have to learn to love yourself first.
I'm pretty sure RuPaul says that all the time. Like, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
Right? If you don't love
It's so
yourself,
true.
how in the hell are you gonna love anybody else?
hmm I mean, in this scene, you could accept her proposal and date her, but it's a sad and pathetic relationship with I looking to you for validation only and eventually breaking up with you. Like, I think it's kind of interesting how they handled that story. Like, I think they did that really well because that's not a good ending. And it wasn't the right time to date her. Timing is important. If we actually want a good ending with a good relationship, we need to turn her down first, like Jen said. And this plays into her arcana, the moon. When the moon is upright, it represents dreams, intuition, and consciousness. When it's reversed, it represents fear, trauma, confusion, and illusion. Ai is loud, confident, and snobby from the outside, but she is inwardly hiding from her true self, the one full of doubts, low self esteem, and deep seated insecurities. Her behavior is nothing more than the desperate facade of a girl who just wants to be loved. Ironic because her name Ai means love, like the kind of love that is rare and special, like the way you would say the deepest I love you in Japanese is aishiteru, but you would never hear anyone say that to each other in Japan. That's like world ending fairy tale love you would say in private.
Oh, so like the type of love that we talk about all the time on this show?
Yes,
And like our love?
of course.
Of course. Now, the central theme of Ai's romance arc is the journey towards self acceptance and the importance of genuine relationships. Though her interactions with you, Ai learns to appreciate herself beyond her appearance and social status. Because honestly, appearance is not static at all. You're one bad sleep from looking busted, let alone the effects of time. And social status is ever changing as well. Use consistent kindness and patience will help her realize that she can be loved for who she is, not just for her outward appearance. During her social link, and partly her relationship with you, she transforms from a character driven by a need for external validation to one who begins to understand and seek internal happiness. Her relationship with you plays a crucial role in this transformation, as he provides the unconditional support she needs to confront her insecurities.
I was zoning out on the mid break that's coming out soon. Okay, sorry. So, honestly, you don't have to date I to help her realize this whole like growth journey for her. In general, I'm a little hesitant about storylines that offer romantic love as a solution to personal problems, but I don't think that's what's happening here in this social link. There is a fine yet definitive line between I can fix them to I can be a safe place for them. And actually, later on in I's social link, she can ask you to date again, and you can reject her again. And she'll react very well to this because she no longer requires male validation for her self worth. Her character arc is a journey from superficiality to authenticity, driven, of course, by your unwavering support, friendship, or otherwise. Through her romance path, though, the game highlights the importance of looking beyond appearances and valuing people for their true selves, which is definitely something I can get behind.
Uh, Agreed. I really like this romance. I think I love like the all of these romances, and I think it's like kind of a general theme in Persona throughout all the games is this self-reflection and taking the time to really understand what's going on with you. Um, Not with you, but going on with yourself in order to learn and grow from it. And this one especially feels extremely real. And I know people like this who had EDs in high school who tried to live up to this false narrative of this is what other people are going to find attractive. And a lot of them used external forms of validation in order to receive that. But being able to give validation of not physical appearance stuff, I'm all for this one. I really like it.
Me too. It makes me sad thinking that anybody, I mean, especially young girls like I, but anybody in high school is so focused on trying to be liked. And I don't know why it's always the first instinct is to think, if I just looked different, people would like me. Makes me very sad that that happens. I mean, I've felt that too in the past. But I also, like you, had friends who really, really sought out physical changes that they thought would make them more likable. And all it did was make their lives so much more miserable because they couldn't enjoy anything else. They were too busy focusing on all their horrible thoughts about themselves and the things they had to do to maintain something or to try to get somewhere that they thought would make their lives better in some way. So I really like the message of this one where it's like there's nothing about you that needs to change. I mean, we're kind of post change for her. I don't know what she looked like before she came, like her family came into money and before she decided to do this, like, I'm going to be really into fashion and thin. So, I mean, I wish someone loved her for who she is before because she was always worthy of it. But yeah, I still like the progression of the storyline that way. I think it's really nice. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a high school romance because they're all children. And I think so far, and when we're going to talk about Rise, I also think that about Rise's romance, like they did a really good job handling all of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is my turn. So it's time for the mid break, guys, because we need to talk fun facts. We need to talk about Spotify. We need to thank our lovely patrons. And because we live in a capitalistic hellscape, you guys also have to listen to a couple ads, but we always limit them to 3 per mid break. So, and if you get less than that, then lucky you.
Mid break dance. Oh, this is the last time we're going to prom. Hmm. Probably not the last time my voice cracks, though. Holy shit, where did that come from? Am I going through a second puberty? What's going on?
One was more than enough.
I heard that menopause is like a second puberty. So that's
Okay.
fun.
People with uteruses never get a break because I'm about to start my period and it feels almost like a mini puberty every single month. Just having like hormonal acne and cramps and feeling gross and I, I'm so tired of it. This is not fair.
No, it's not. Only 20 more years of this bullshit. Yeah, I can do it.
Unless you get early onset menopause. Woo.
I don't want hot flashes at 45, okay?
I don't want them ever. Maybe you'll like them because you're always cold. What do you think?
Oh, okay. No, don't want. Oh, how do I go back to the damn show after that one?
Fun facts time.
Hmm. All right. Fun facts. According to IMDb, Julie Ann Taylor is the English voice actor for I. The list of credited roles on there for Julie didn't include any that V recognized and seems to mostly be voicing roles in anime. But I did recognize some names. She plays Hilde, as in like Hildegard from the Soul Cal series. She's been in like almost all of them. So the Soul Calibur fighting games. She's also falsetto in Namco's Eternal Sonata. And if you played Eternal Sonata, you're an OG. I appreciate. The game was a trip. And I'm also now convinced that Dot Hack is the Buffy of anime. Everyone has everyone has had a role in that game.
I've never watched Dot Hack or played Soul Calibur or Eternal Sonata. So I'm not a real one. And I also didn't recognize Julianne Taylor. Sorry, Julie. Um, but yeah, I did recognize the next one, which I think everyone does. So also according to IMDb, because that's the only place I look for voice actor names, Laura Bailey is the English voice of Rise. If you don't recognize the name Laura Bailey, yes, you do. What hasn't she been in? She's been a part of Critical Role for ages, such as the voice of Vexalia in The Legend of Vox Machina. She was Abby in The Last of Us Part 2. She was MJ in Spider-Man 2. She was Grace in Stray Gods, the role-playing musical that was done by David Gator and team. Awesome. She was also Nadine Ross in Uncharted. Kira Carson in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Dagna and Bianca Davry in Dragon Age Inquisition, Helena Harper in Resident Evil 6, Oriana Lawson, aka Miranda's sister, in Mass Effect 3, among many, many, many other roles. Laura is the GOAT.
I didn't know she was Ori.
Yeah, she's everybody. She's everything. Always. Every single time I'm like, I think that person sounds familiar. It's Laura Bailey.
Okay. Oh. I think she also played a lust demon type person. Oh, lust homunculus in Full Metal Alchemist. um,
Oh, like lust?
mhm.
Maybe. I would have, if I had noticed that in her freaking giant list on IMDb, I would have put it because I love Full Metal Alchemist. Her husband actually is Travis Willingham, who was Roy Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist. One of my first non-real person crushes. I love Roy Mustang so much.
All right. Now, speaking of Rise, she is notable in that she is apparently the only companion who can revive the player once in per battle if you've leveled her up. She's pretty powerful in a fight too. Her name Rise is spelled Rise, so it looks like the American word rise. So she's able to rise people back up.
Nice. As for her social link is really intricate because unlike many of the others aside from Naoto, you can fail the link or reverse the arcana during the link, which would potentially lock you out of the romance or friendship, depending on what you're doing. It makes her feel more like a real person to me, like with agency. And also it's satisfying with the social link game mechanics. Like I thought that was a cool way. I guess they reversing the link was really common in older Persona games, but there were only two, Naoto and I, in Persona 4.
Hmm. I wonder. Oh, I guess it's kind of similar to the friendship rivalry, but you can't romance a reverse link. Okay.
Yeah, you
All
lock
right.
out. Like it's like the bad ending for them, like where you can have really good growth with the upright normal social link. If you reverse it, you have to do a lot of extra stuff to get them to forgive you, and their growth is like stunted because you can't, like, it's all player generated character growth, and if you can't be friends with them, then they're just gonna suffer and die without you, I guess.
Yeah. I can't grow without you. I need you to guide my path. All right. Well, 192 people have given us ratings on Spotify. And that's insanity to me. That's crazy. I appreciate all of you so much. And of course, we give special shout outs to our lovely, lovely patrons Toasty and Apollo, Becky and Daddy Bat Night, Stone Mystios and Muffiny Cake, Win, Evie from HR, Lavelini, and Magister Davida. Big hearts, major love, all the frickin' thank yous.
Just really quick, Day said in chat that in Persona 3 and the original one, I think, reversing the link meant friendship was in danger. Usually happened if you were dating multiple girls at the same time or double booked hangout spots and like couldn't go to both. So
Ah.
yeah, from someone who actually played these games. I'm so sorry, guys. Someday I would really like to play this. I'm just busy, and now Solus is back in my life, so I don't know what to tell you. Okay, anyway, thank you so much, patrons. So much. We love you so much. And I'm actually excited about this next character. I think she's my favorite. So are you ready to talk about Inaba's very own young famous idol, Rise, finally?
Yes. Rise Kujikawa is a first year student at Yasogami High School, making her 15 at the start of the game. She has already had an illustrious career as an idol, which is a catch all term for a performance artist, usually a female and a singer, who also is just generally cute and does ads for things whilst looking cute. Idols are usually young, but Rise is very young, having started her career in middle school. So, like last year, needing a break from fame, she pauses her idol career to move in with her grandma and Inaba so she can, quote, find herself and have a break from the pressures of fame. Initially, Rise is struggling with her public persona versus her true self, feeling lost and unsure of who she is without the mask of Reset or her idol nickname.
I can't even imagine like dealing with fame when you're dealing with puberty and childhood. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And yeah, poor Rise can't escape fame though, because apparently she was really that popular. One of the first things you see in the game is an ad of hers where she's literally like wearing a bikini and holding a can of soda or something. And like the ad features like a lot of water splashing her. And it's very suggestive. It's very gross. If you don't feel gross watching it, I don't know what to tell you. I felt gross watching it. I don't really like that. Like she's a kid, you know? No wonder she wants a break from fame. It must be nice to just be a normal kid starting high school. When you first meet her, it's pretty obvious how divorced her real self is from her stage persona of Rosette. She's just making tofu in her grandma's shop and isn't really interested in talking about her idol life. She actually never wanted to be an idol in the first place.
And she'll tell you this later on during her social link, but she was bullied a lot when she was younger. And so she decided to make an idol audition tape for fun. But she didn't actually want to be one. Her parents submitted it to an idol competition without her knowledge, and she won. When her parents told her that she had won and that they had applied her for it, she felt pressured to accept. Maybe she could make some friends if she was an idol? And here is the tale as old as time, especially for teenagers discovering themselves. Maybe people will like me if I pretend to be something I'm not. Obviously, that never works because eventually the jig is up. Eventually, living in a way that is not authentic and is against your core values causes all sorts of problems that can't be ignored, like chronic anxiety. The moral of the story is to always be true to yourself. And that is Rise's journey in Persona 4.
Yeah, it sounds a lot easier said than done, right? That's actually part of Rise's immediate attraction to you. His calm demeanor and genuine kindness is really refreshing because he doesn't really care that that's Reset the idol, you know? Her flirty and an energetic personality contrasts with her underlying insecurities, much like I, and she often uses humor and charm to hide her vulnerability. She basically puts on her social, like, star persona to get through the day. Throughout her social link events, Rise opens up about her struggles with her identity. She reveals her discomfort with how people view her solely as an idol and not as an individual. And this creates a deep sense of isolation and confusion, as it would, because, like, who is she? What's her true self? As Billie Eilish put so succinctly, what was I made for?
Oh, sorry, the Billie Eilish caught me off guard. After we wrap the show, I will tell you my Billie Eilish tangent because it's adorable. The primary theme for Rise's romance arc is her journey towards self-discovery and authenticity. With Yu's support, Rise begins to explore who she is beyond her public image. She wrestles with the fear of being ordinary versus the pressure of living up to her idol persona. Rise's development is marked by her gradual acceptance of her multifaceted identity. Her dungeon is the culmination of this acceptance. Her shadow self is everything she fears is all people see in her. Just a pair of tits in a bikini, stripper pole and all. This description, when she appears on the Midnight Channel, even says her chest area and her waist are emphasized. The name of her dungeon is Mariuku Striptease, with Mariuku being the name of her family's tofu shop.
Yeah, her dungeon's uncomfy for
Yeah.
everyone involved. The aesthetics of the dungeon scream fancy strip club, burlesque venue, if you will. Whichever way you turn, you're confronted with Rise's sexualization and objectification. The music in the dungeon is provocative, fitting for the setting, further emphasizing the overtly sexualized theme. She must face her shadow self, as all of them do in their dungeons. And her shadow self is an exaggerated version of Risette, her stage persona, dressed provocatively and speaking seductively, reflecting her discomfort with how often she's forcibly sexualized by the entertainment industry. When you defeat Shadow Rise, that represents Rise's acceptance of her vulnerabilities and her determination to define herself on her own terms.
The boss fight is truly the pinnacle of all this extremely obvious imagery regarding sexualization. Shadow Rise will flaunt her bikini and say things like, "Today, you're going to see every last inch of me." And it's my first time. Please be gentle. From a 15-year-old, I feel disgusting. The mini boss is a white snake with the gender symbols for male and female attached to it, with the tail of the male sign going through the circle of the female sign. I wonder what that represents. The boss fight opens to Shadow Rise literally pole dancing, and her true boss fight form is a naked woman made up of a blend of colors. And honestly, as gross and depressing as this dungeon is, it really speaks to a wider global issue of the entertainment industry and the sexualization of children. She's an idol in Japan, but child actors in Hollywood don't have that different of an experience. Ooh. If this had been a 20-something putting herself through college and confronting the idea of loving both her onstage and offstage personalities, I would have loved the Technicolor Rainbow Woman dancing and attempting to kick my ass because y'all know that I fucking game. But no, this is a literal child whose parents thrust her into the limelight against her will.
Yeah. Like, I was once a girl. I'm now a woman, but I was a girl and I developed early and I've had a breast reduction. So my boobs currently are a lot smaller than what they once were. And I didn't ask for that. And I had men hitting on me as young as 12,
Mhm.
13. You know? Yeah, same for you because you also are bigger than average. And that apparently means what? It means we're children who are going through puberty, but to men who don't see that, like, it's disgusting, and I can only imagine that times 1,000 because you are famous, you know? Like, people there's many times you're playing the game, from what I saw in my research, where, like, people will just come up and start talking to her, and there's even one time where gosh, I hope I'm not getting her mixed up with because honestly, their social link stories are pretty similar in a lot of, like, the themes, but if I think this was Rise where, like, someone or no, that was where someone actually a student hit her and called her a bitch because she, like, wasn't nice to him. I mean, that could have been Rise too. Like, that could happen to if that's a behavior that you do, if you're not doing it to just one girl. There's, like, but these 2 girls in particular are just, like, um gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? They're ambassadors for a lot of problems that especially young girls face, but I know this could happen to any child, and it's really hard to see as a 32-year-old lady with a daughter, let alone, like, me who was once a girl, you know? Like, but at first when I was watching this, I didn't understand. I was like, "Ew, why would they create this character? Like, this just feels like fan servicey, but it's gross because she's a child. But then the more I was watching and finishing out her social link, I realized like, no, this is a statement against this sort of thing. This is not to
Mhm.
sexualize Rise actually. It's to show how Rise was sexualized because she is one of however many people that's happened to, kids that's happened to, you know?
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's
because
just
this is her dungeon. You're fighting against this.
mhm,
This is what they don't want and what she doesn't want. And so, yeah, if you were to only watch or only know about this scene taken completely out of context, of course you'd rally against it. But
mhm,
with everything, knowing everything else that's going along with it, it's really freaking powerful. Now, of course, also sitting in this with my own eyes at 38 and going like, I don't want to be watching a 15-year-old stripper. No fucking thank you. But also, this is a video game that's designed for a younger audience, so there isn't any actual nudity. There's the kind of like outline shape of her body, but there's no definition to it. And it's a swirly, honestly, a really pretty swirly rainbow. I got mesmerized by it for a second. Um, so it feels yicky because we know what we're looking at, but it doesn't actually look anything too bad.
yeah. And, like, the result you get out of it and, like, the realization and where she gets to is the point, you
Mhm.
know? That is the point of her story, and I that's what art is for too. It's not necessarily gonna be comfortable all the time, and sometimes things need to be said in a way that makes people feel something because that's usually how they'll do something, is when they
Yeah.
feel something about it. And yeah, but anyway, this dungeon was crazy. Like, I think that the most impactful one that I've seen, honestly, like, from these characters, there are non-romanceable characters that have dungeons that I did not watch because 'cause I've not played this game, but this one really stood out to me. Rise in general did. But after the dungeon, Rise does come to terms with the fact that she has been hiding her true self behind her reset personality. She acknowledges her discomfort with being sexualized and starts her journey towards self acceptance and authenticity. She believes and learns that she needs to integrate reset with her true self, understanding that she can embrace both without losing her individuality, that it was her all along. They're all parts of Rise. Reset is not completely separate from Rise. And that's literally what persona means. According to the renowned psychiatrist Carl Jung, you might have heard of him, the term persona means the mask or appearance that one presents to the world. It is kind of like masking. The person you are at work is probably not exactly the same as the person you are with your best friend or your lover, but all are versions of you. People like to talk about who you are deep down, but all that really means is the common factors between your personas. We're all amalgamations of our beliefs, values, and actions. And the only real answer to who am I is I am me.
We all contain multitudes. Rise's arcana is that of the lovers, which are usually the attractive female companions who need help proving that they are more than just a pretty face in Persona games. When the card is upright, the lovers represents healing, fertility, passion, and harmony. When it is reversed, it represents imbalance, conflict, and disagreement. The lovers is a plural card, like how Rise and Reset are two sides of one whole. And after her dungeon, as you continue to progress through her social link, fans of Rosette will come up and ask her if she is the famous idol, and she'll say no. But that's not exactly what she said in her dungeon, is it? She said Rosette was her, and that they were all parts of her. So she's still on a journey to find herself. She's not fully understanding how to wield her personas.
Rise thinks she has escaped the confines of her idol status by turning away from her fame, but she hasn't yet realized that while Reset is a part of her, no part of her contains her entirety. It doesn't help that her manager, Inoue, shows up trying to get her to come back to do a movie. She also is an actress, apparently. But Rise is adamant that she's no longer a personality. She merely has a personality. Her manager genuinely cares about her and brings her a letter from a middle school student who looks up to her for her anti bullying statements and her talent, which reminds her of the good she can do with her fame, that Reset wasn't all worthless. I also must say it's rare to have a manager that's actually gentle and kind like that. Like he treats her like his daughter, which I thought was nice. At least someone was protecting her.
That is good because, yeah, nobody says that about their manager that we've heard about in Hollywood. Eventually, she hears some other teenagers comparing her to a new idol that is slowly taking her place, Kanami. They say that Kanami feels more honest, while Rosette feels fake, and she's bothered by it. When she admits that it bothered her, you have an option to step in closer to her. And this is the first romance choice for her social link. And like all the romances in the game, it comes pretty late in the link. You have to be friends first. Rise will admit that she wanted to be her real self, but what she needed was to be her complete self. Yu has helped her realize that, and she is grateful that he stood by her while she discovered it. The relationship is cute, and Rise is very open with her compliments, flirting, and affection. So this is probably a satisfying romance for many players.
Yeah. She also is like the most openly flirty with you before the romance starts. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people just romanced her because of that. Like she shows it. I don't know if it's genuine interest or if she's still doing her reset thing when that happens, but it seems like she likes you. You know, she makes it obvious. So I think that's really cute. I mean, there are some flaws, as there always are. There are things we didn't talk about too much. Like she kind of is. I mean, she's a child, but like she's very immature sometimes because of the way she manipulates people to get what she wants. Like she'll exaggeratedly fake cry sometimes, or she'll go and like flaunt her fame in certain instances to get special treatment, which she does extend to you as your friend, like her friend group. But sometimes it's like, oh, come on. It just feels a little, especially when she's like constantly complaining about it. I guess you might as well get one good thing out of it. So go off Rise and get free alcohol because she gets drunk at one point, which I had that scene totally out of context. So yeah, they're at like, it looked to me like a noreban, well, a karaoke room club kind of, but I don't know if that's what that was because I haven't played that game, but like they were all sitting at a little chair and she like was clearly drunk. And I don't know why. And I saw one dialogue box say like, "Oh, this wasn't supposed to be real alcohol." So I don't know how you drank that much and didn't notice. Maybe she's never had alcohol before. She's had non-alcoholic beverages before. Surely that tastes differently. And also shame on whatever gross adult, probably man, who gave her alcoholic beverages. So
Mm.
it was weird.
Problematic.
Yeah. Not on her, not on her. Like people
Right.
around her. Um,
Don't feed children alcohol.
yeah, for real.
That's
At
something that
least
they
not
need to do on their
unsupervised. I'm just
own.
kidding. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just there was a lot, and like we've said, if I was a teenager watching this, I'm not sure if I would have gotten the full message of what Rise's story or social link is. But I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's good to understand. And that's probably why the symbolism and the themes are so overt. They're not subtle at all. Like giant rainbow pole dancing naked lady, not a subtle sign about what the problem is. But I
Yeah.
think that's why, is so that everyone can get that message out of it because it's a very important one. So I really like Rise's character and I really like her social link and her romance seems pretty cute. I mean, it's a high school romance, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Like it's just cutesy, holding hands, kissing stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Now that we've gone through all of them, I don't know who I would romance if I actually play this game because I love the empowerment and like the affection level from Rise seems adorable and cute, and that's something that I would really like. But then I like the maturity of Marie. I like Chie's tomboyish Americana attitude. There's so many of these characters that I'm like little bits and pieces from all of you I really, really enjoy. Um, so I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd romance anybody. I maybe if I did, I would romance Chie, but I would be besties with Naoto and Rise for sure. I think like but I mean, you're a boy, and maybe that would be really healing for Rise to have just like a platonic friendship with a boy after
Yeah.
everything she's been through, rather than a romance. But like, I'm not going to assign morals to it. Like, you're allowed to romance her, and she's very open to it in her story. So do whatever you want. I think I love them both. Like, think Naoto and Rise are my favorite, but I think I would romance Chie also.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Do we have any other final thoughts on these characters or Persona as a whole? Or
I need to play any Persona game at this point. I had never heard of them until we started this podcast. And our very, very first interview with Heidi McDonald, she suggested Persona series for games to look into for our podcast. And it's taken us this long because there's just a big, big, long list of games we need to talk about. And that list is ever growing. So we finally got to one, Heidi, if you're still here listening to this at all. But yeah, I want to play Persona 5 also because Rise is another character that is also in Persona 5. Like
Mm,
she'll show up. She's not like a main character, I don't think, but she will show up and you'll see her. And she's at that time 21, I think.
okay. Um, hmm. I don't know if I would want to play a persona that we've covered or a game that we haven't, so that way I can experience it with like clean, fresh, no notes eyes, you know?
Yeah, it made research harder because it took me a while to get my head around the main story, like,
Mhm.
of this game. not to mention, because I need to understand that at least a little bit to understand how these character stories are playing out within that plot. So that was kind of hard at first, but it was also kind of fun doing the research and like discovering their story like firsthand that way, rather than playing it because I don't know. It was just fun for this purpose. I don't think anyone else should like go and spoil the game for themselves, but like for me doing this as a job, I had to, and it was fun though. Like it was like reading a book.
Yeah. Well, and I've definitely experienced these episodes being my spoiler to a video game that I hadn't played yet. So I've done that a lot and then learned and enjoyed the story by listening to the episodes and doing the research. Um, hmm, so it's fun though. All right. I think that wraps on Persona 4. So, if you like what you're hearing, please be sure to leave a review on iTunes or give us a comment on Spotify. And you can also leave comments on Audible. Did you know that we're on Audible? We are. Go find us, go like us, go rate us and review us and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can now find me on the Cyberpunk Lorecast with my co-host Osi, where we explore the foundations of the past, the state of Night City today, and the news of the future for all things cyberpunk. Check out Scyther Audio's newest fan-made production, The Avengers, the audio drama, where you can hear me and several of our podcasting friends. You can also reach out to me in our Two Girls One Ship channel on the Robots Radio Discord. And come give us a follow on all the social medias and on patreon.com searching for Two Girls One Ship. Our theme music was composed by the ever-talented Pipe Man Studios, and our artwork was designed by the esteemed Let's Not. Links are in the description.
I am also on the Robots Radio Discord and on our own Two Girls One Ship Discord server where we nerd out on all our favorite CGI significant others. Be sure to check out our live streams on Twitch on Fridays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Our podcast episodes release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday.
So thanks for listening, and remember,
beauty is in the eye of the controller.
Yay.
Meow. Yeah,
I
Dave says
really
we should
hope that
play
you're.
before. Sorry.
Yeah. I really hope that your audio recorded.
Oh, mine did, yeah.
Okay, good. Because apparently Audacity decided to change settings to where it only recorded me.
I
So
love that.
gotta love that.
So sorry. I'm so tired. I didn't do anything. I'm just tired as a rule.
Oh, but now you yawn. That's going on.
Been yawning
And
throughout,
now
but I was
all of
muted for
chat,
all of them. Yeah, sorry guys.
all of chat is going to start yawning. Okay. Dave's been asking me to play Persona for a while.
Yeah. This is not Persona related. I just want to get that out of the way really quick. I don't know if you read the Game Informer story about Dragon Age Veilguard, but I just want to say that in my heart of hearts, I've always known Solus was not the main antagonist, and it's really nice to finally have that confirmed. And I feel validated and still in love. That's all.
Okay. I'm so torn. Like, I want to know everything and all the things, but then again, I don't want to know jack shit. I want clean, fresh, don't tell me anything spoilerized, like I I love experiencing it on my own.
That's fair.
Especially for something like brand new, you know?
I've just always, as a rule, since Dragon Age Origins, obsessively gobbled up every little crumb BioWare has ever left as marketing up to the release date. So I'm not going to stop now. I will continue to do that. And then I won't look anything up once the game comes out and
Yeah.
play it. I'm just going to raw dog it as raw as I can anyway. And I'm really excited that Solus is just going to be Johnny Silverhands, basically, in my head all the time. I can't wait.
Um, oh, what was I about to say though? I'm mad at Solis. How fucking dare he break Bianca? How fucking
Um,
dare you?
yeah, yeah. I feel
But then
nothing
again,
about
that
that.
also
Really.
you
Like,
what?
yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's happened in the last 10 years, but why Varric would think that once again pleading with Solus was going to change anything, let alone pointing Bianca at him when he's literally ripping the veil apart. Also, it did look like that's what happened in the trailer, but I don't know if that is because the veil was already opening. What if it was one of them Gillenane Elganon folks back in there looking eldritch as fuck, first of all. Like they look messed up from their time in the Fade. They don't look like elves no more. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was Solus. Maybe he did break Bianca, and I'm sorry about that, I guess. I don't really feel anything because I'm trying to wall that part off in case the unthinkable happens to
Yeah.
Varric.
No. Oh God, no. Do not let that happen. But honestly, I could also see as that being why Varric's skill set has to reset because he's got to rebuild Bianca. Because if you put the
Well, he's
Varric that
not one of the companions, though.
he's not, isn't he like
No.
team leader? I thought he was going to be one of the
I mean,
people.
I'm hoping he's an advisor a la Cullen or something, but they've repeatedly said there are 7 companions and they have named all 7, and Varric is not one of them.
Oh.
So he will not be.
See,
I
this
don't
is
want
why
to.
I
I
don't
don't.
want to know anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's an old man at this point too. He doesn't need to be out there
So was
friggin'
Blackwall.
listen. Blackwall lived hard. Varric, no. He needs to rest and write stories and be in a tavern somewhere. Blackwall also wasn't as old as Varric is now.
Okay, well,
I think
so is
Varric's like
Win.
in his 50s. Okay, but she was an abomination and was magically fueled.
Oh,
And Solus is an ancient elf, so he and his age doesn't count. Except for apparently they like said that's why he's bald, that all elves at a certain age just go bald. And I'm like, where are our bald queens then? Like,
Vivian.
well, but she's not an
I
ancient
know.
elf though. Yeah,
You said Bald Queen, and that's the first
that's
person
fair.
that popped in
Yeah.
my head.
Yeah, that's very fair. But ow, Mary. Also, if they go bald after a certain time, why didn't he lose his eyebrows? In fact, his eyebrows have grown since the last time we saw him. So that doesn't track. Someone needs to think this through. It's fine if he's just bald. There doesn't need to be a lore reason. Like, I don't get it. Oh, Mary, Mary, put this paw away. Sorry. I'm getting kicked by my cat.
Aw. You
Canonically
want my
bald. That's funny.
oh. You want my super cute, kind of like sad yet uplifting Billie Eilish story?
Bittersweet. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Mary, scratch my caftan. Yeah. I want to hear
Okay.
that.
So we were at like Rex and I were inpatient rehab for 3 months. We remember this time period.
Mhm.
Um, every week there were these people that came around. They were professional musicians and whatnot, and they donated time every single week to the children's hospital, to the rehab, well, actually to several hospitals all around the city. So obviously, they began to know my kid very, very well, seeing her every week, sometimes twice a week for 3 months straight. And then learning what type of music she liked, and they'd sing like different types of musics and songs and whatnot. Um, Rex told him that her favorite artist was Billie Eilish, and this guy learned um, Ocean Eyes for her. Like he took the time to learn all the guitar music and how to sing the song and everything like that. But then she got discharged before he was able to actually perform it for her. the last time we were in the hospital a few weeks ago, they were doing their rounds and he came into the room and he saw me and he saw Lexi and this man's face lit up and was like, I had no idea it was you. Oh my gosh, I've missed you. How have you been? They had this like full on conversation. This man remembered out of the literal thousands of kids that he interacts with, was like, I learned this song for you, and I had been hoping that one day I either never saw you again because you were better and never needed to be back here, or at least one more time I got to see you so I could perform it for you. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So yeah, the random Billie Eilish. And then I was like, oh, but Ocean Eyes. And he's really good too. Like his voice totally fit for it.
I love that. I haven't heard that one, I don't think. Maybe I'll have to look it up. But musicians are the best. My daddy is a musician. And I love I love just artists, period. Wonderful. That's what makes life
totally wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, oh yeah, my kid was in hospital for 3 months in rehab, and then we were hospitalized again. But the fact that we had a really, really genuine, cool interaction with somebody.
I'm thankful for people who do things like that because they know that you're only there because it's a bad time. So they want to give you a good little spot of light in the bad time.
Yeah.
And I love that.
You should make Mare Bear a hospital kitty.
Oh my gosh, I know. He just hates going outside. He would be so good at it. He's just so sweet. He's like in my lap, passed out right now. My sister's dog, Finny, she's thinking about making him a therapy dog because he's just a baby. Like you'll meet him, I'm sure. He just wants love. He melts like the second you start to pet him. He just melts into a puddle and gives you his belly. He's just such a good dog. So maybe someday he's still pretty baby and needs some training. He's a rescue. As they all should be. There are so many animals that need to be rescued. Who rescued who, huh, Mare?
I need to be rescued.
Yeah, I know. Someone come foster me.
Right.
I don't want to be adopted though, so good. All right. Yeah, I need to put myself to bed. Good night, Yuri Cat.
All right.
And good night to your baby.
Good night to all the babies everywhere and to all of our watchers and listeners. We will see you next week for Patron Chat.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Is it Patron Chat? Wow.
Is it? It is. Next week is Patron Chat. Okay.